Welcome to a brand new episode of Lunch with Doug Plus, a unique and fun experience brought to you by the Music Exerbia Project. We are here today thanks to the generous support of our esteemed sponsors. John's Barbershop, located at 121 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Open Tuesday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Walk-ins only, no appointment needed. The American Legion Post number 2, located at 402 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri, newly remodeled with a clean, fresh look. Well, hello and welcome to the show. Today, as promised, I have Thomas Seymour. He is an amazing guy that I just stumbled onto because of the algorithms of the internet, which is kind of my way. You're doing this awesome stuff up there, Thomas. You're making cool videos and things on your page, and of course, I'm interested in that. So, of course, I found you, and I'm excited to get to know you as well as the viewers will be getting to know you. So you're in. I understand you're in Queens, New York. How'd you get to New York?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks so much for having me, Doug. Queens, New York. Originally from Connecticut, which is just 2 hours away from New York, but grew up there and then moved to New York, I guess, in my mid-20s. And it's been interesting. I'll say that much. I've been an independent filmmaker since I've been a teenager. I've been fascinated by it for that long, so I just stuck with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I saw that really got me interested in you is you were there was an excerpt on one of your videos there on Facebook, and you were talking about like the reality of like real independent filmmakers versus kind of the ones that people think are independent but really actually kind of have more of a budget and stuff like that. And
Yeah. I can, I definitely talk about that. Well, like if you think of like Wes Anderson, his first movie was Bottle Rocket. And I remember when that came out in the video store, everyone was like, "Oh, check out this cool independent film." But that one is really obvious. If you look at it for 5 minutes, it's a Sony Pictures film. I think the budget was maybe $5 million. So right off the bat, Sony's a major studio, and it had James Caan in it. So like right off the bat, it's just disqualified. That is not an independent film. But so many of these films were celebrated like that. So but I can keep going if you want. I mean, there's like Kevin Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's all right. That's just what caught my attention. Now, where do you fit in this? I know you were making, like I said, you've been an independent filmmaker for a long time, and what kind of what's maybe tell us about some of your bigger films that you've made or more successful ones for you.
Oh yeah. Well, the ones people, if they do know me, the ones that people would know me for are the VHS Massacre documentaries. First one we started shooting in late 2012, early 2013, came out in 2016. But VHS Massacre documents actually the decline of physical media and the fall of the American video store. And those were pretty that was difficult because I was an independent filmmaker. And so like I was kind of documenting my own experience as the stores were slowly going away. Because previous to that, it was very hard, but I managed to be a direct-to-video filmmaker. And so I had a number of features that would, they'd premiere in like maybe one movie theater in the East Village or something, but essentially they would come out on video. And by the time I did this horror film called Mark of the Beast, and it got on the shelf at Kim's Video, New York City, and like within a year, Kim's Video just kind of went under, and it was kind of the last. 2013 was kind of a bad year for video stores because Blockbuster Video, the corporate franchise, that went under. So now there's only like one Blockbuster Video left in the world, I think, which is in Bend, Oregon. So.
Yeah, Blockbuster's pretty pretty down. It's just funny, one of the things that I have we're doing with the channel, and you, like I said, I know you've previewed the channel, but you literally got to preview it probably the first time today.
Yeah.
So you didn't get to see much before we talked. But one of the things that we're trying to do is we're aiding uh video stores that are still doing rentals. So there's this
Awesome.
one in Indiana. Their claim to fame is they're the last video store in Indiana, in Brooksville, Indiana, and they're just mom and pop store. And so we've been running ads for them. They've got TV ads, and stuff. So we're running that and trying to get some interest. And they had a guy that a little independent film guy came in and did a little short film on them. And I
If
have
you, dude, I'll run ads. If you, I mean, I'll stick them on my YouTube channel.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
know.
Well, yeah, I'll link you up with them because that might be a great place for you to get some of your movies out, in the Indiana area.
Yeah.
Again, it's a super small town, but um, they still get movies every Tuesday, new movies, and some of them, have major actors in them. A lot of the movies that are new that are coming out on rental are lower budget film, but I mean, I saw one the other day. It had like Bill Murray in it. I had never heard of it. Like it's just
Right.
something a smaller company putting it out, but it has Bill Murray and stuff. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's something going on. So tell me, like now, if for me as well as the viewer, like where do we get your movies and stuff now? Like how do we see your movies?
Right now, the okay, almost all of them still have a physical release. So VHS Massacre and VHS Massacre 2, TOO is the sequel. And those are on Blu-ray. So you can still get those on Blu-ray, and Troma put those out.
Oh,
Uh
nice, you're on Trauma. Excellent.
yeah, yeah. Which is actually exciting because Lloyd Kaufman, president of Tournament's got his big budget remake that's coming out finally with Peter Dinklage and all that stuff. So it's cool. Like what I like about Lloyd is he's still like he never gets snobby,
Mm-hmm.
even when he's got this big movie coming out, like he's approachable and he'll talk to people, and he's always, at the conventions. I don't know if you've ever been to one, but he's always like such a sweet guy. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so those, I would have to think Trauma in general for me having the success of those films, because really Trauma has such a loyal built-in fan base. I don't know how many people is that. Probably about a 500,000 people maybe are like
Mm-hmm.
loyal Trauma fans, but those documentaries kind of just fit perfectly within there. And so we did those with
Nice.
Trauma, and I do have a newer one
So
out. Sorry.
are they on the on demand? If you subscribe to Troma and you have the on demand program, do you get you to see yours through that, or is it something you
Yeah.
buy through Troma? Yeah.
You can buy the physical copies. You can kind of buy anywhere, Amazon.
Uh huh.
In regard to streaming, they're kind of almost everywhere. Like VHS Massacre 1 and 2, you can get on like Tubi and Prime, and actually even like Mubi and like Peacock and like Fandango. So Troma really, like, I have to hand it to them. They really got it, like even
So
into the mainstream.
Troma is the ones that get you. They redistribute you to the mainstream. Then you're
Yeah.
distributing through them. Excellent, excellent. I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
yeah, that's kind of like yeah, it's interesting because I kind of do these YouTube videos of like trying to, I basically say, look, this is what I've succeeded with, this is what didn't work. But like yeah, for those of you out there who are interested in the distribution aspect of filmmaking, so like as an individual filmmaker, very hard to get on something like Peacock TV or NBC Universal,
Yeah.
or the or even Apple TV. So you typically go through
Mm-hmm.
a distributor, which would be kind of a middleman, but so Troma then has access to push all the stuff through. I use another company I recommend called MVD. So if you're a filmmaker out there, you have a finished film, try to approach MVD. They'll push it out. And the exciting thing is that like the MVD pushed it out like um they have like a system where they can kind of offer it to, let's say, 50 different distributors.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe like half of them or a third of them will take it. But the last one of the last documentaries I did was called American Expendables, and it's about the films of North American pictures and direct-to-video action stars like Billy Blanks and Cynthia Rothrock. And I just looked, and it was Cineverse put it out, and I tweeted about it like months ago. Hey, this thing called Cineverse is putting out American Expendables. I was happy about it, but I didn't know what it was. But I looked recently, Terrifier 3 and the Toxic Avenger reboot. Those are, if you look, Cineverse is like the company that's putting it out. So like there's weird stuff will happen, like, and I found this to be true about independent filmmaking. You'll kind of get in the door sometimes when the company is smaller,
Hmm.
and then later it becomes cool. Like
Hmm.
in 2005, I did this film called Land of College Prophets. It was a weird, like backyard superhero type thing, like kind of like Toxic Avenger trauma thing, because I've always loved trauma.
Hmm.
And it got on Netflix, the physical, back when they're mailing out DVDs.
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
on the website you see Atlanta College Profits Netflix. So we were on Netflix like back when it like just wasn't that cool, you know.
Uh-huh.
But then once they got cool, once they got big, then they just totally stopped taking like the
Hmm.
no budget stuff, you know.
Right. Well, you just raised my accolades because you're my first Netflix filmmaker on the program. Loud
Technically.
applause. All right. It
Technically.
that that's
Yeah.
going that's going in the promo. Oh, this
Yeah,
is
I
great.
mean,
This is great. I'm
yeah, I
very
mean,
excited about you and your films and everything. And I haven't even got to see one yet, but just the previews I saw, I was just like, this guy, this is great. This guy's got great stuff. So what are you working on now?
well, the one I just finished, and it's hitting film festivals now, is called Video Dreams. And it basically chronicles me trying to get a film into Blockbuster Video, and like what that meant to filmmakers at the time and how hard that was to do. And but it definitely an emphasis on the mom and pop video stores about how those were really more important. But when I was in it at the time, like the I never had a lot of money, and it also felt really wasteful and to spend to try to raise a lot of money. So I was doing these little genre films. Um, and because genre made the most sense, do something like sci-fi or horror or something. Because if you do a drama, I tried doing a drama, and it was like a train wreck. Like if you don't have any stars, like just no one cares. So uh, but if you're gonna do those small genre films, like the sort of brass ring was like Blockbuster, because at that time, late 90s, early 2000s, like you're not gonna play in like a Cineplex. So Video Dreams is kind of about that, and that journey. So I think it's an interesting watch, but we entered 81 film festivals,
Oh wow.
and we did that because we want to kind of boost its like profile before it goes to streaming and physical media. And if we did that, maybe we get into one third of those. And so maybe we're playing in like 25, whatever the math is on that, maybe 25 cities or 30 cities. It doesn't matter, little screens, big screens. And so that's kind of I call it my midlife crisis film. So that's what we're trying to
Hmm.
really make a go of it this time.
Excellent, man. I'm excited. So that's what I saw. I saw a little piece about that because I saw the Blockbuster thing. So
Oh
I did
yeah.
see a clip of that, and then I saw the other clip because I was kind of clicking through there, and I was like, yeah, this is really cool. So what can Lunch with Doug TV do to help you get a buzz out or word out? What can we do for you?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that Video Dreams trailer, just like for your listeners out there, you to keep a lookout for it. Check out the trailer, and it may be coming to a film festival near you.
Hmm.
And um, basically. Yeah, I mean, in regard to it hitting streaming, that will probably happen like early 2026. But the cool thing is, if your listeners out there, one of the coolest things they can do is just like go on Tubi or something and watch one of the films for free. So like either VHS Massacre or American Expendables about the action stars. They can just go and check out the movie and give it a watch. So
Oh, awesome. And
yeah.
Tubi, I've got Tubi, I think, on my TV, and
Mhm.
I don't think there's any kind of subscription or anything to it. It's basically free, right?
Yeah, I love Tubi. Yeah, you don't even have to log in if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. I think they have almost every one of my films. And yeah, I mean, I forget what the deal is. I mean, I might make like a penny every time someone watches it or something, but I in general, just if it's not obvious, like I don't clean up doing these films.
Yeah. So
Um,
we got to watch it a lot of times, is what you're telling us.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone, tune in, get that, just get it on play all day long, and after we watch it 1,000 times, you'll get a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Oh, I
Well,
forgot to say, also if your viewers are really into the physical media, this is one of the coolest things that's happened is Vinegar Syndrome put out a Blu-ray of American Expendables. So ETR Media created it, but then it's you can get it through Vinegar Syndrome. And to me that was like super cool because Vinegar Syndrome is kind of like that's kind of like the cool kids. So
mm-hmm.
um that's something if you're into physical media, American Expendables, a doc, and it's cool. It has three movies on it. It's got this director's cut of it's called Fountain of Death. That's like an movie I directed. It's got one called McCloud about a film composer. Uh, yeah, so that's a fun one.
Man, you've got a lot of catalog. You've got how many movies have you made?
I've directed about 12, and then I do a little producing work here and there. So there's probably been about 30 movies I've been a producer on, but probably only about 20 of those I really was like got my hands dirty and was on the set and stuff like that. But I will like there are some times where I'll do like some marketing and get some music licensing for them and get other investors and stuff like that. So I've done that on a number of films, so I'll carry like a producer credit, but like it's not like I was in the trenches on the set. But I
Mm-hmm.
so probably about 20 movies I've actually hands-on produced.
Nice. And then total, how many projects you think you've been involved in total? Probably don't even know.
Man, I don't know. No, a
I'm
million
just
years
curious.
ago I was well, I used to be a CBS news editor in the late 90s editing. So every night we'd cut news packages. So it's like there's that stuff. And then early YouTube, 2007, I was part of Black 20, which was web video, early web stuff. And we probably did like 100 videos there. Shorts, little tiny, early YouTube was kind of like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
uh, you know, you
Well,
know,
yeah, it was so hard. It took for like 9 years for it to upload. You
yeah,
like come back
yeah,
2 days later and your like 10-minute video would be up there.
yeah. But it was amazing at the time. I was like, this is incredible. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you count shorts, definitely over 100 little tiny pieces.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so
Nice.
it's not it's not the easiest path, but it's been good. In the last 5 years, I really do feel like it's taken like 30 years to like get some kind of following where like
Mm-hmm.
people will like at least people within a certain niche like who like horror or some of the exploitation stuff kind of are like, oh yeah, I know these movies. So
Yeah.
it takes forever. So
Yeah, it's a challenge. Like when you the general public, they just think like, oh, these things are just so happening. You're just like, do you have any idea how gigantic the world is and how oh, like the
Oh,
big budget, the ones you hear about have such a huge budget that's like that's why you heard about it because their marketing budget was just in the millions. It's not like, they've marketed in the millions of dollars to advertise that. Like who has that on an independent level? Like no one.
oh, it's crazy. I mean, I think there's that. Did you see that the first Terrifier movie?
I
Um,
didn't.
it's like it's super gory, but I think it was like they spent, I believe, $40,000 on it, and it was like huge. I forget how much it made. It made in the millions. And so like as a template, again, it's hype. You got to be into that stuff. It's so gory. But like that's almost a perfect modern template because it wasn't millions of dollars. Still, that's a good chunk of change. That's like a new Lexus, right? 40 grand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But uh but they did it and they made it and it was a huge hit. So it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's still being done, but like you said, it's a big world out there, so it's hard to break in.
Yeah, I was actually like, and we were talking earlier about like the independent movies, but I did see a thing Kevin Smith was saying the other day. I saw this thing with him, and he said exactly how much he spent to make Clerks, and then like your deal earlier, like you said, they refilmed and they give him money and they paid him money and then they took over from there kind of. But he said, I think he said it was 37,000 575. He had like a very specific number. I wrote it down. I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
But it was around 40,000 of his own money that he had to put out when he was literally working in the convenience store that he filmed it in.
yeah. He
And
he is legit though. He's a legitimate independent filmmaker. But yeah, it's like yeah, I was saying that yeah, once this is the thing. I'm slowly realizing this now. It's like I grew up reading Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew book about low budget filmmaking. Um, in that he goes, well, you make a low budget movie, don't worry. When you get distributed, they'll just pay to clean up the film, clean up the audio, retime the film footage, do a 35 blow up. Okay, that happened with Kevin Smith. They
mhm,
dumped like $250,000 into cleaning up his film. Same thing with Rodriguez and possibly even Linkletter with Slacker. They at least made a 35 millimeter print and a transfer, but that is what I like the dozens and dozens of filmmakers I know, that is fundamentally untrue. The When you have a finished film and you approach a distributor, they will not do that. They will ask for deliverables, which are line items. I need a Apple Pro as master of the film. Back then it was a print, 35 millimeter print, whatever. And they'll have all these different things that they require, including all the
mhm,
paperwork. Um, no distributor pays for that stuff. So I figured it out. It was pretty much just the Weinsteins. It was pretty much just them that were doing that kind of thing to like the no budget kind of films. It's like, yeah,
mhm,
we'll take Clerks, we'll reshoot the ending, we'll clean it up, we'll do all this stuff. There may be like small exceptions, or if there's like if someone made a $20 million film, yeah, maybe a company would come in and tweak a few things and put it out.
mhm.
But that's something I came to realize, and I think Robert Rodriguez, even in one of his interviews recently, kind of admitted to the fact that, yeah, I said a lot of that stuff in the book when I was like in my early 20s, and like I don't think he realized
Yeah.
his skyrocketing wasn't normal.
Yeah, he was in it special. I think I'm looking at the time frame and I'm thinking about the music industry at the time, and they were kind of doing that with the music industry. It was kind of a real special time. They were just grabbing up these bands and they grab something that they'd already recorded, and then they would just kind of polish up one song, make a single, shove them out there, put them on tour, and make money. And it was just like it was selling that week. It was cool or whatever. And so I think maybe just for a minute, maybe that's what the industry as a whole was kind of doing. Maybe just that
Yeah,
little, like you said, pocket. And it was
yeah,
just like
that's true.
a
Yeah,
special time, and a few people lucked out on the deal, and then back to normal.
That door, yeah, that door closed
Yeah,
hard,
done.
you know. Yeah, and I was
but
like one of those idiots that like like I was probably like because I started like in the late 90s, but like if I had started 5 years earlier, frankly, I don't think I could have because they were working purely on film. I did kind of a hybrid where I shot on 16 and then was editing at least with early Premiere, which was a nightmare, crashed all the time. And the hard drives were tiny. It was terrible. Um, but like, yeah, if I had but the thing is, like 5 years earlier, I would have been like 12 years old. So it's like, I started kind of as early as I could, but even like when I was starting to make progress, that's when like the rug was pulled out. That's when like most of the video stores went under, So it was like probably the worst time to start making filmmaking, being a filmmaker. At
Mhm.
least now the money is not great, but like streaming really can give you a foothold. You can put out a horror film, little tiny horror film, and get on like 20 streaming platforms,
Mhm.
So if you're
Well,
not,
yeah, and you now at least I know it's not a lot of money. This is the same way in the music world. It's not a lot of money, but at least it's money that wasn't there before. There's at least
yeah,
something returning, and something is better than nothing, I guess. And a lot of people
yeah,
talk about it, and they're saying how terrible it is, and I'm like, well, if you remember a couple decades ago, there you weren't getting any return unless you did something. It was either all or nothing, and now at least there's something in between. And the advertisement and the free exposure you get that doesn't really cost you a lot. If it costs a little bit, maybe, but most of it's pretty much, it might as well be considered free, that you're getting this, hey, oh, wow, I just put my movie out to, the world. And nobody could do that a few decades ago.
yeah. It's absolutely true. Yeah, yeah. So it's like I did a exorcism film. I like did like a director's cut. It's called Exorcism of Fleet Marish. Weird name, but um I did a recut. It's like black and white, added some footage in. I put it out in 2022 and like put that out through MVD, and then it was licensed by the Horror Channel, which has these huge YouTube channels. So like the Horror Channel's got like just I don't know, it's like 10 million subs or something. So like I wouldn't, as a filmmaker, YouTube isn't a place where I'd want to like start. Like I don't want to just post a feature on YouTube right away, unless it's a rental behind some kind of paywall. But like that movie, because we went through MVD, pitched it to yeah, horror, I think Horror Central, I think it's called Horror Central. And they played it on two of their channels, and it's like they've got like 250,000 views. And I was thinking back to the DVD days. Initially, it was called Mark of the Beast, and we did a DVD run, and it didn't sell. I mean, it sold probably 1,000 units. So if you're thinking of just in regard to like, okay, I'm an artist, I really want to get the work out there. Like, web wide, that Exorcism flick has probably gotten maybe 500,000 views. That I'm fine with that. That's great. So as long as you're not thinking you're gonna be rolling in millions of dollars, then it can be done.
Mhm. But you do this full time though, right? This is your full time gig.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I teach at a college. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
teach film or you teach
Yeah.
something else?
Yeah, I teach
Okay,
film,
nice.
yeah, shooting and editing, and then some recently new media technology, some like design and uh, like animation and some video game stuff. It's not my specialty, but I kind of I can help with that stuff.
Yeah,
But
you can get them started, get them knowing how to do it. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
So
yeah.
did you
So
go to
that's yeah,
formal film school or did you go to like what'd you do for
yeah. I
schooling?
did, I did, but I did like recently, like so I went to community college initially, and then I started volunteering at public access TV and made a bunch of stuff there and volunteered on shows. And then I had my AS degree, and then that was enough. And I was doing my low budget films. That was enough to get me in at CBS News. So I started doing news cutting at a local affiliate. And then so that's all I had for education for a number of years. And I did work for like did some work for IGN and NBC Universal, just web video here and there.
Hmm.
But that totally dried up. I think when the recession happened, the Great Recession, all that dried up. So I got a gig as like a technician at a college. And then for like 7 years, I just went back to school at night, just part-time class here and there, and finished a BA in communications and media, and then eventually did an MFA in essentially documentary film. They called it integrated media arts, which was kind of, but the concentration was documentary film. But I was like 40 by the time I by the time I had gotten that other degree. So it was weird because I'd be in a class, and it's in New York, so it's a weird group of people. Um, you got one guy who's got a PhD and works for the UN and is doing like an MFA for fun, and I'm like the guy who's like feels wildly out of place because I made a lot of trashy B movies, and I'm trying to act like a academic, and I don't really know how.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, long story short, too late, but that's kind of how, technically I did go to film school for my MFA, but yeah, it was like in 2020, you know.
Nice. Oh, that's cool, man. That's a fascinating story. Yeah, things come together like unusual. I find that the general public thinks that things happen a certain way and this is how it's done, and there's not, that is not. People's stories are really different, and each occasion is it has its own little thing, so
Yeah, like if
very
you look at my
special.
resume, you're like, wow, this guy, IGN, it's like
Hmm.
NBC, but then it's like, oh yeah, well, they don't tell you I worked at a bookstore for like a year between those two gigs, for
Hmm.
like $9 an hour, so it's like really,
Yeah.
it's really all over the place.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's exciting. That just makes like the things you learn, and like
Yeah.
I won't even go into my path of travel, but it's been a very unusual route, and it still is every day. I'm
Yeah.
excited about it.
That's
So
good though. Yeah.
let me ask you this. This is off the subject a little bit, but Queens, New York, is
Yep.
is that where there's a little music venue? It's a really small place. I think it's called the Candy Shop. It's like a kind of world known type place where they do these little very intimate shows.
Let's
Have you
see.
heard of that? Is that in Queens, or is it's somewhere
Shop.
up there? It's in New York, I know,
Candy
but I'm
shop.
not sure.
Let's see. You know what? Let me look. It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Candy shop. Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. It may have another name with it also, but it's yeah, it's like this little intimate gig thing. I bet you it only seats like 20 or 30 people. It's really small from what I've
Sounds
seen.
cool. Sounds
Uh-huh.
super cool.
I think they do some like, they film some of the I've probably saw it on like they probably have a YouTube and they probably film the
It
performers
wouldn't
and stuff.
be Pete's Candy Store, would it?
I think that's it. Yeah, I think
Career
so.
contest, Pete's Candy Store. Oh yeah. Cool.
Is that
Um,
close to you or not?
Lorimar. I think that's Manhattan. I think Lorimar Street, Brooklyn. Brooklyn. I
Okay.
think. So I think that's right below. Yeah, sorry, I should be more well versed on
No,
my
well, I know New
venues.
York's a big place, but okay, so the reason I'm even bringing this up is there's a girl that plays there. She's from the area there. I don't exactly know where she's from. She might be from Syracuse, I think, actually.
Okay, nice.
Anyway, she gigs in there, but she tours and she does this thing she does this like life and times of her like traveling. Okay. And she like worked for Carnival Cruise for a while and stuff.
Awesome.
Her name is Emma Jude. She's a fantastic singer. Anyway, just throwing the bug out there that maybe you should do a documentary on her.
Emma
She would
June.
be a hit.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look her up.
she's to my knowledge she's unsigned, but she plays all these like she plays there. She played like the Viper Club in LA, like these really renowned, like very important little venues.
Oh yeah,
For
that is it.
and
Yeah. Emma Jude at Pete's Candy Store, Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Got it.
she's
Got it.
fantastic. Do a documentary on her, and you guys will make a hit, maybe. I don't
Cool.
know.
I got our website up. I'm gonna check out some videos. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool. Candy
yeah. I
store. I
don't
wonder
know.
if I've ever been there. I'm not
I
sure.
just thought you guys would be in the in the same at least vicinity anyway. I
Yeah.
know, like I said, New York's big. I know, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I thought that. I try to look out for the people that
Local. Yeah.
she's been
No,
on the
that's
show, too, and stuff like
very
that.
cool.
So
No, that's close. It's like funny thing is Queens and Brooklyn, like if you drive in a car, Queens is like 10 minutes down the road. But the with public transit, they make you go essentially over to Manhattan and back, and so it's odd. Like it's very close actually. Unless you're on the subway, then it's like this whole
yeah,
roundabout thing. Yeah.
that's crazy, crazy. Well, like I said, sorry, I don't know where that came from, but I wanted to throw that out there. I want to
Yeah.
stay in touch with you, and I want to talk to you again in the future. Today, let's go ahead and I want to watch your time. I know you got to be somewhere. But is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you'd like to share with our viewers today, and then maybe give them some more information on where to get in touch with you and see your work and stuff again?
Yeah, just if any of you are aspiring filmmakers out there, you absolutely can do it. You don't need a lot of money. I always recommend doing like a genre film like horror because it's a very like forgiving genre and with a big built-in audience. And you can get a couple of your friends, you can make a horror film for pretty much nothing. I mean, and there are places that will put out your film. And so if you love it, it can be done, and the financial barriers almost, but removed. So go for it. And then in regard to my stuff, yeah, I mean, I if you're kind of interested in the sort of like DIY filmmaking stuff, my YouTube channel VHS Massacre has some good stuff on there. And yeah, keep an eye out for Video Dreams. It might be a little while before it hits streaming or physical media, but yeah. Yeah, that's about it. And thanks for having me on the show, Doug. Great to meet you and appreciate you reaching out. So this was a treat.
Yeah, man, it was excellent meeting you. I'm really fascinated, and I'm excited. I'm going to go home tonight. I'm Tubi. I'm going to be watching your movie, so I'm very excited. That's the weekend plan. So yeah, yeah. Thanks again, and we'll be in touch.
Okay.